There is a parent somewhere desperately waiting to hear something, anything about the whereabouts of their child. These are the stories that are hurting many parents. And later on in the bulletin, we'll be having a conversation that will help us to understand what the cost of a missing child really is. This is TV47 Prime. My name is Wakio Mzenge. Our sign language interpreter is Catherine Similoi. Good evening and welcome to the bulletin. A somber mood engulfed the Naivasha Sub-County Referral Hospital Funeral Home as families, relatives and friends of the 16 girls who perished in the Utumishi Girls Senior School fire began the painful process of body identification. The tragedy deepened as only 3 bodies could be positively identified, with the rest burnt beyond recognition, forcing reliance on DNA profiling to give grieving families closure.
Documented all the reports on the bodies we have examined, documenting with the photos and everything, and the DNA samples have been collected successfully. So they are going to be analyzed and they are going to be matched with the relatives, and the results shall be announced later. So that is where we have reached up to now.
That were examined were in different states of burning, and some of them were completely charred. So some of them might take a little longer. So we are calling for patience. DNA processing or DNA analysis is a process. And definitely it is not a one-day event, but eventually we are putting our best foot forward. We'll be able to do the best for the families, and given time, we shall be able to deliver the results. So we might not exactly give an estimated time, but definitely we are starting the work immediately.
Meanwhile, the U.S. government says it remains in contact with Kenya to resolve legal hurdles over the proposed Ebola quarantine facility. This comes as the Ministry of Health insists surveillance has been enhanced at all points of entry, further assuring the public that no Ebola case has been recorded in the country. But doctors under KMPDU are faulting the plan, demanding transparency and questioning Kenya's level of preparedness. Elizabeth Atieno reports.
A day after the High Court of Kenya temporarily halted the establishment of an Ebola quarantine facility in Laikipia County for foreign nationals, the U.S. government says it is in touch with Kenyan authorities and are optimistic that the two countries can resolve the objections. In a rejoinder, Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale has maintained the government will proceed with the establishment of the Ebola quarantine facility to enhance surveillance, diagnostic capacity and emergency preparedness. CS Duale further says the government has established several dedicated isolation and treatment facilities, including specialized units at Kenyatta National Hospital, the Kenya National Police Hospital, and Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, and additional sites have been identified in more than 10 risk border counties to ensure a rapid and coordinated response should a case be detected. Even before dust settles on the matter, youth leaders from Laikipia County have given the government a 48-hour ultimatum to halt the establishment of the Ebola quarantine facility, failure to which they will hold demonstrations.
If they don't ban that establishment, we are going back to the streets.
And the US being the first world country, they have all the expertise and all the capability and the resources to curb or to address the issue of Ebola. So bringing their citizens who are infected with the Ebola to Kenya, that is risking our lives.
The facility should not be set up in any part of this country.
Serikali kwanza iende mahali na ambapo ni muhimu, kama ni kule katika mpaka wa Uganda na Kenya, kuwe na facilities kama hizo, lakini sio na nyuki, tumekataa.
On the other hand, the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union has called on the government to be transparent with the details of the proposed Ebola quarantine facility, further questioning the country's level of preparedness in Ebola prevention.
And we ask the government to give out and to be transparent on the arrangements or these particular discussions that they've had with the US government regarding this particular agreement.
At the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, screening has been enhanced. The border management team domiciled at the airport has increased surveillance at the 6 international arrival gates, with gate number 16 now designated for passengers coming from high-risk countries.
If we find that somebody is unwell on board an aircraft, we are notified by the aircraft. Once the port health officers are notified, they come and pick the passenger.
To improve surveillance quality, Port Health has enhanced genomic sequencing by collecting and testing waste samples from all planes arriving at the airport through national laboratories. The samples will be stored in a specialized fridge at the Port Health Clinic. So far, 129 Ebola cases have been confirmed, 1,027 suspected cases, and 246 deaths have also been reported since 15th May 2026. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
Opposition to the proposed US-funded Ebola quarantine facility in Kenya is intensifying. In a rare show of unity, leaders from both government and opposition have condemned the plan, insisting it risks Kenyan lives and was signed without public consultation. They are now calling on President William Ruto to terminate the agreement with Washington, even as reports indicate American medical specialists are already in the country preparing to begin work.
Opposition to the proposed US-funded Ebola quarantine facility in Kenya is intensifying, with leaders from both government and opposition uniting to condemn the plan. They argue that the deal was signed without public consultations, leaving Kenyans who may be directly affected out of the process.
Aboard Ethiopia Airlines, in the last 48 hours, Ebola patients have already come into Kenya, and some are already in Kenyatta National Hospital. Leo tusimama na watu wa Laikipia kusema tunapinga hiyo Ebola center ku-establish in Laikipia County or in any county in the Republic of Kenya.
Though the High Court has already halted construction of the 50-bed quarantine facility following a petition by the Katiba Institute, Kenya had already entered into an agreement to receive $13.5 million for Ebola preparedness. Leaders are now urging President William Ruto to cancel the deal, warning that it poses serious risks to citizens.
Mimi nataka nimwambie Mheshimiwa William Ruto, hiyo hatutakubaliana na wewe. Haya mambo yote ambayo umefanya, vile mjumbe mmoja amezungumza hapa, tuachie uhai wetu, tupambane na hali yetu. Hawezi kutuletea ugonjwa hapa, na wewe tunajua hauna ule uwezo hata kutatua malaria. Bado malaria inaua watu hapa. Watu wanakufa na ugonjwa zenye hata tuwezi sema hapa, ati bilharzia bado inaua watu. Alafu unasema wewe ni expert wa mambo ya Ebola. Haitawezekana.
Must move Parliament, Senate and National Assembly. We tell the president kwamba he is wrong kuamua kwamba watu ambao ni wagonjwa kutoka kule DRC wa Ebola waletwe Kenya. Hata Rwanda wamefunga mpaka yote. We cannot support the president when he wants to bring Ebola into the Republic of Kenya.
Reports suggest that 30 American health specialists have already arrived in Kenya, preparing to begin work despite the court's ruling. Meanwhile, residents of Laikipia are planning demonstrations next week to pursue government into abandoning the agreement.
Na sio Laikipia peke yake, tumesema hatuitaki Kenya. Na tunasema hivyo kwa sababu hii Ebola ifikangi Kenya. Ama nyinyi mshaisikia Ebola imefika Kenya. Sasa sisi tunasema hiyo rescue center ijengwe Kongo, ijengwe Uganda, ati sijui tunaambiwa tunaletewa Waamerikani wale wagonjwa wapelekwe Amerika kwa Trump.
Sisi hatutaki hiyo maugonjwa ya Ebola. Kama iliwapata mahali penye wako ni ukweli, watibiwe huko, wakae nayo huko, sisi waache tukae na amani. Already sisi wa Kenya tuko na shida mingi sana. Sasa tukiongezewa ya Ebola, I think tutaisha tu.
The World Health Organization reports that Ebola has already claimed more than 246 lives, with over 1,000 infections recorded in the region. Figures that underscore the gravity of the debate. Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47, Nairobi.
A somber mood engulfed the Naivasha Sub-County Referral Hospital Funeral Home as families, relatives and friends of the 16 girls who perished in the Utumishi Girls Senior School fire began the painful process of body identification. The tragedy deepened as only 3 bodies could be positively identified, with the rest burnt beyond recognition, forcing reliance on DNA profiling to give grieving families some closure.
4 days after the Utumishi Girls Academy fire tragedy, on Saturday, parents came face to face with the full reality and impact of the incident as they viewed the charred remains of their loved ones. Some who could not bear the pain fainted, and others were left tongue-tied as the doors of the mortuaries opened for the families to view the remains of the 16 who perished.
Pain is beyond explanation. It's more than words can explain.
The reality of the pain that the miners went through before dying was evident in their relatives' faces as the Red Cross staff moved in to offer support and counseling. At the mortuary, emotions ran high as the relatives, friends and the media personnel tried to grapple with the tragedy that had left tens of unanswered questions.
Really down. I don't know what to say, but I wish how the culprits wageretwa mog waone vile watu wamekufa waone waangalie. I know they will not repeat this again.
According to the parents, the exercise that was carried out by 3 government pathologists also saw the DNA samples from the bodies and the relatives collected as part of the identification exercise.
Tumeelezewa mambo ya wamechukua samples because the bodies are beyond recognition, and tukaambiwa mambo ya tukapromiziwa mambo ya kutakuwa na identification, and then there will be the mass, the mass that will be held for all the students, and then after that, mazishi.
One of the Muslim families was, however, left between a rock and a hard place after identifying their daughter, but could not immediately bury her as per their religious customs.
Kwa sababu sioni pingamizi yoyote, kwa sababu kama tumeidentify mtoto ndio huyu, wametaka DNA tumepima, sasa nini tunangoja chengine tena? So tunaomba tu kama tunaweza pata msaada kwa serikali tupewe mwili yetu twende tusike, kwa sababu sasa the more inakaa inaongeza tension hata kwa familia.
Another relative, Njoke Themba from Embu, who lost her niece, said the bodies were in bad shape and badly mutilated, making it hard to identify them.
And I can truly say that those bodies were seriously mutilated. They were burned beyond recognition, apart from maybe 2 or 3 of our bodies that we were able to, the next of kin could be able to identify them. Like I was able to identify my niece because she was not badly off.
Samira Mohammed for TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Samira Mohammed. And to our football fans, PSG versus Arsenal ended with a 1-1 draw, so we're waiting what will happen after the extra time. Meanwhile, optimism is running high in Wajir County as residents prepare to host this year's National Madaraka Day celebrations. For many, the event is more than a commemoration. It is a chance to transform the region socially and economically and to reshape perceptions of leadership in northern Kenya. Business stakeholders say the celebrations will ignite growth in hospitality and services, while locals are urging President William Ruto to advance development, address insecurity, and deliver lasting change.
Wajir County, long seen as lagging behind its neighbors, is now stepping into the national spotlight. Hosting this year's Madaraka Day celebrations is more than symbolic. Residents believe it will unlock new opportunities in education, innovation and infrastructure, proving that meaningful development can be achieved across northern Kenya.
So it's a door for us to go to him and sit with him, get the secret of discussing with him more developments.
Business stakeholders say the hospitality and service sectors are already experiencing growth, with local entrepreneurs anticipating a major economic boost from the influx of visitors.
Kuanzia sasa utakuja kuona at least ma restaurants, ma lodges itakuwa mingi zaidi.
Residents are also urging President William Ruto to prioritize completion of the long-delayed Modogashe-Wajir Road, a lifeline they say will ease transport challenges and open up the region. They want the head of state to address recurring droughts, devastating pastoralist communities, and the insecurity that continues to hound parts of northeastern Kenya.
Aongee juu ya mambo ya usalama na elimu. Hizo vitu mbili ndio muhimu sana katika maisha ya binadamu.
Ni barabara between here and Modogashe. Kutoka Modogashe paka Wajir paka Mandera. Hiyo ndio ahadi yake ya kwanza. Ya pili ambayo ni muhimu sana kwa watu wa Wajir ni power lighting. Sisi tunakuanga na shida ya stima.
Tunataka ya city ya wafugaji iwe hapa Wajir.
But not all voices are celebratory. Some residents accuse local leaders of neglect, saying too many spend their time in Nairobi instead of tackling challenges at home.
Vile sasa development imeanza iko happen hapa na stadium imekuwa, utakuja kuona watu wengi watashift upande hii. Initially kila mtu ameenda tu kwa ile jiji kubwa ambaye ni Nairobi.
For many years, Wajir has struggled to attract investment. Now with the national spotlight firmly on the county, locals believe the celebrations mark a turning point, a chance to draw government projects, investors, and renewed hope for the future. This is the first time Madaraka Day is being held in Wajir County under the theme Education, Skills, and the Future. For the residents here, this is a new dawn, and they can't wait for similar celebrations to be held in counties that are neighboring Wajir. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Wajir County.
Tonight, divisions have rocked the ODM party following the alleged attack on Siaya Governor James Orengo last night in Homa Bay County. This comes after Homa Bay Senator Moses Kajwang condemned the attack against Governor Orengo, saying the Siaya governor has the freedom to express his views. Governor Orengo has accused Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga of being behind the alleged attempt on his life last night.
ODM party continues to face internal turbulence after Siaya Governor James Orengo, who belongs to the Leader Mwananchi faction, was allegedly attacked in Homa Bay County, an attack Orengo has blamed on fellow ODM Governor Gladys Wanga.
This cannot go without us sending a very, very, very big warning to Governor Wanga. This is not how to play politics. In Siaya, everybody comes to Siaya. They do their politics. They even say things about us. We never stop anybody. In fact, sometimes we leave the county to live there, leave them comfortable and in peace.
During the incident, Orengo claimed that two of his allies were seriously injured by youths, allegedly armed with crude weapons and tear gas canisters, even as he insisted that he would not be intimidated from expressing his dissent against the broad-based government.
And they had tear gas canisters, which they threw to us. My suspicion is that, the police were involved, because there is no way that members of the public would have access to tear gas canisters.
Homa Bay Senator Moses Kajwang has condemned the attack, saying Orengo has a democratic right and freedom to conduct his politics in any part of the Nyanza region, while Migori Governor Ochilo Ayako criticized Orengo, telling him to toe the party line.
He's a friend. Let us allow him to come and say the things he wants to say, and then he goes back to Siaya. Our people are not going to change their minds. They are not going to change their positions. But when we fight him, we make him look popular.
So Orengo aende polepole. Sisi kama watu wa eneo hii tunataka kuja pamoja.
Campaigns to unseat Orengo who is seeking a second term in office in 2027, have kicked off in earnest, with Energy CS Opiyo Wandayi, who was in Siaya, meeting a section of the county MCAs, and declared that he will now take charge of Siaya politics.
I am going to play my part as a key stakeholder in this county. We are not going to allow this county to get it wrong once again in terms of leadership. So even as we move forward, we are very clear in our minds that even as we move to the next elections, which is next year, we are going to ensure that we have the right leadership in place, from the governor coming downwards.
And the politics of the day is two-faced. You are either in broad-based, which is two-term, or one-term. Here, we can say, without mincing our words, that Siaya County leadership, of course with the Siaya people, are for two-term.
ODM party leader Oburu Oginga, who also camped in Siaya, says ODM remains firmly focused on its 2027 election plans.
People are telling us that we are going too slowly, but election is still 1 year and 2 months away. What is the hurry? There is no hurry. We are going to organize everything systematically.
Apul Kamau, TV47.
Now let's move to Baringo County, where learning has been thrown into disarray as rising waters from lakes Baringo and Bogoria flood schools, leaving thousands of learners across 11 schools studying in dangerous conditions. With classrooms surrounded by water and some institutions facing relocation, the future of education in the region hangs in the balance. Our reporter Sally Davida has more details on that.
Rising waters from Lake Baringo and Bogoria continue to disrupt learning in at least 11 schools across Baringo North and Baringo South, leaving thousands of pupils in precarious conditions. At Loruk Primary Schools, floodwaters have engulfed large sections of the compound, forcing children to study in classrooms surrounded by water.
This Lake Baringo has been able to consume. We watched several schools went down to the waters.
Parents also say their children have to face daily challenges from crocodiles, hippos and water snakes on the way to school. The stagnant water has also fueled a surge in malaria cases among pupils, compounding the crisis.
Mwalimu akifunza hata sikia maneno kwa sababu maji iko karibu, naona samaki na rukaruka, mtoto akili naenda kwa maji. So sioni kama mtoto atasoma.
Authorities say some schools may have to be relocated to safer grounds, with affected learners moved to other unaffected schools. However, Nosuruko Primary School has already been completely submerged, hence forcing learners out.
As we relocate this school to a safer site, and as we rescue whatever salvage things we can be able to get from this school, we are saying the building behind us now need to be salvaged and be relocated to a new location.
Residents are now urging the government and education stakeholders to act swiftly, insisting the future of their children is at risk if learning continues to be disrupted.
Now, 3 other classes have been affected.
Sally Davida, TV47.
Thank you so much, Sally Davida. In Kenya today, relationships are quietly being rewritten. For many young adults, love no longer fits neatly into the traditional mold of marriage or defined partnerships. Instead, they are embracing what they call situationships, emotional bonds without formal labels, where connection feels easier than commitment. Tonight, our reporter Faith Wangari explores the modern trend reshaping how young people love, where feelings are real but the future remains undefined.
Two people spend weekends together. They share meals, know each other's routines, share nights together, then go weeks without a single word. Physically close, emotionally distant, and still have not defined what they are to each other. Meet Anita Njoki, popularly known as Wafirithi, and Batla Mwiga, aka Flapper. To anyone watching, they look like any ordinary couple, comfortable, familiar, easy with each other. Wafirithi and Flapper are both entrepreneurs, met through work referring clients, building professional trust. Over time, that relationship shifted into something more personal. They now spend time together, but they have chosen not to define it.
I think both of us tunapenda freedom. So we can't handle umechelewa, umetoka, ulikuwa na nani, unapiga simu na nani. So we saw it wise. Si mtu tu akae kwake, wewe ukinimisu nini, tunatafutana, tunaonana weekend. That's it. And that relationship is okay. I mean, we're good.
Asked to describe what they are, both pose.
You're a couple.
Yeah.
They live separately and have not agreed to exclusivity. Each is free to see other people, a condition both say they entered knowingly.
Sijai hata afika ati kufikiria ati sasa tumeongea once daily, per day tunaongea once, kwa nini, why, una feel kale ka every time unataka kayapo nini, ama si ndivyo unamaanisha? Hiyo time hata sina nini.
I think pia kukua idol inafanyaga mtu ukue tu unataka tu kuona huyo mtu wako unataka tu.
And marriage, it has never been a conversation.
Marriage ni ya watu wanajua kufake na masins, as in, you know, but you pretend like I need to see you daily because I love you. Hiyo ni uongo. Kuna siku tu utaamka hivi hata bwana wako unasikia, you know, yeah. Wewe hujaikaa in a relation, hata ukiwa kwa relationship and you feel like uko na bwana, uko na mtoto, but you still feel like I need my own space. Like that is what we value most.
Both say the arrangement is a deliberate choice and not avoidance.
Sisi ni boyfriend na girlfriend. Hivyo sasa, you see that setup. Hakuna go graduate na graduate. Hata tukiproposiana tuoane, we won't be staying together.
But life rarely stays still. What happens when one of them changes? When the feelings quietly shift and one begins to want something the other never agreed to give? What happens when someone new comes along and this time one of them wants more?
Wanaume sijui kama ni spirit ama wanaamini that hawezi kaa na mtu mmoja. Azina ukiochoka space kadogo, unasikia utarukarukia. Una get? Yeah, but sasa yeye nimemkubalisha kama anasikia kufanya hivyo, but asifanye na kila mtu, atafute dem alete aniambie sasa ukiona siko niko hapa.
Si eti nikiweza sikia ama nijue maybe ako na afia na mtu atineza jam ati nimwache. Actually namwambiaga hivyo hata mimi hata nikisaini nikijua uko na msee siwezi kuacha unless uniambie this guy seems more serious, maybe nitakuwa committed kwake more. That's okay.
That unspoken question is one psychologists say is central to understanding the real risk of undefined arrangements. Wafirithi and Flapper are not alone. Relationship researchers and counselors say undefined partnerships are increasingly visible among young Kenyans, driven by a combination of economic pressure, digital dating culture, and shifting social expectations. Dating apps have made it easy to meet people and harder to stay with one. The availability of options combined with the pressure of building careers and a financial uncertainty has made long-term commitment feel riskier for many young adults.
For dating app again, you go there, you get someone you don't know, you date them, you can start supporting each other and all that. It looks nice because you're not committed. Someone is out of the country or is in another county and it looks like it's function until you come together. So those things are really contributing because we are not highlighting the marriages of our parents that were working. We just want to highlight these things that looks social media. We highlight and profile fake things.
It's a symptom of a trauma that society is experiencing, based on failed marriages and marriages that don't work. So pain has caused them not want to put themselves in that part, that place of pain. So can I enjoy the benefit, the good part, without the commitment? And I honestly don't blame people. You know, being in a relationship is hard work.
But counsellors also note that not everyone in an undefined relationship experiences the same way. For some, it is genuine preference. For others, it is a compromise, one they may not have freely chosen.
It's a dangerous kind of living, because what people don't realize is when you give yourself to somebody, you leave a piece of yourself with that person and you take a piece of that person. So in as much as it feels like there's no attachment, it's a lie we lie to ourselves. You know, it can be spiritually, biblically proven. It can be biologically proven. So we lie to ourselves that it's a one-time thing.
Harrison Mamai holds a clear position. He believes society has over-idealized monogamy and formal commitment. He sees consent and not structure as a foundation of a healthy relationship.
You can meet somebody, and it has also happened to me. You walk into a hotel, meet a beautiful lady, take her number. It's not even that you want something serious, but it's just like a situation that has arisen, and you want to have a good time. I think it's a very common thing. It's happening everywhere. I think the problem is when we are judging people because of that. I don't think there's anything wrong with you having a situationship for a while. Hata kama ni mwezi moja, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mamai argues that as long as two adults enter a connection sincerely and without coercion, then there's no ethical breach.
Relationships become boring. There's a marriage situationship, at some time zinakujanga zina fizzle. If you think you like somebody, there's a time when it will end in a lot of tears. Like, okay, na demo umpende, just understand you're getting yourself into a lot of problems.
It is a view that unsettles many. For a generation already questioning the rules, it is finding an audience. His views are contested, including the psychologists and religious leaders who argue that consent alone is insufficient to protect emotional well-being over time. Psychologists, however, who study relationship patterns say that while autonomy and flexibility can be healthy, prolonged ambiguity carries distinct emotional risk, especially when both parties are not equally invested.
At the beginning, define your relationship. If you must be hurt at the beginning, not at the end. Not after you have invested yourself in a relationship for all 3 years, and then that's when you're realizing, wait a minute, kumbe this thing was not going to work for me. Utakuwa hunted for 5 years and it will really hurt you at the end. So seek clarity at the beginning. It will be painful, but please leave as early as you can, and then get into, or trust God to just give you the right person.
The most common harm, experts say, is not the arrangement itself. It is the silence that surrounds it. So without clear communication about expectations, one person often invests more emotionally while the other maintains distance. That imbalance, left unaddressed, can cause significant psychological harm.
When I give you certain treatment, that is emotional abuse. I reappear, I disappear. I bring STIs because I'm open to other partners. See, I'm torturing your brain. That's harmful. You know, you can tell someone who is not with you. Then if we are not talking and telling each other where we are heading, surely, do you need another red flag? But if both of you are enjoying the situationship, then it's okay.
Experts say that there are clear signs that a situationship may be causing harm.
The situationship affects the soul part. Right? The moment it affects the soul part, before we know it, we are going to hear you saying, hey, I'm having a lot of headaches. Hey, I'm having back pains. We call it psychosomatic disorders. Pain that is caused by very heavy emotional distress that surpasses the threshold that it's supposed to work, right? So you start having physical problems and challenges. So the body, the soul, the spirit needs to be okay at one point.
Anxiety after time together rather than reassurance, quietly hoping that the other person will eventually change, turning down opportunities to stay available for someone who has never asked you to. Psychologists say these patterns often go unnoticed until the emotional cost becomes impossible to ignore.
Ask yourself, what is within your control? This is what you can control, Angari. You can control your thoughts, You can control your feelings. You can control your decisions. You can control your actions, your behaviors. You can control that. But you cannot control somebody else's thoughts, feelings, behaviors, actions, responses, perceptions. You can't control that, right? So first thing is, have you realized that this is a situationship or this is a relationship that is not working, and you've looked for all options to try have the relationship work, but it has not worked? Yes. So what do you want to do as a person? What is within my control to communicate?
And for trauma, psychologists say does not only come from prolonged dramatic endings, it can come from waiting, from months or years spent in emotional uncertainty, hoping for clarity that never comes, or perhaps childhood trauma.
If you carry a void because maybe your father was not available, you're likely going to look for an unavailable man, okay? And most people end up looking for those or clinging to those kind of people, which from my psychological perspective, it's a projection, it's a defense mechanism, okay? So look at the reflection. What is you holding on to this relationship? Reflect.
Bado kunakuwa na a lot of frustration.
Kenya's religious communities offer a different framework, one in which commitment is not a personal preference, but a moral and social responsibility.
When you are raised by a single mother, alafu you ask about your father, akwambia babako alikufa. Okay? So that you know you won't follow. And then unasikia auntie asema nani ndio anakuanga babake. You know, what kind of generation are we raising? So unakuta sometimes it's a result of how these marriages are, and then we raise a very bitter generation, so they end up they're like we don't want this. And again also, you know, the adopting other cultural practices that are not ours.
The Sheikh draws a distinction between the desire for multiple relationships and the avoidance of accountability that characterizes many situationships.
Women are more than men. So if we stick and become monogamous, where will they go? They are fear of diseases, nini, and all that. But if someone is married and they say, okay, my wife, I also got married, now you are two. Unajua, when I'm not here, you are on the other side.
Across Kenya's religious communities, the message is largely the same despite the different religions. Commitment is more of a responsibility than just a personal choice, one that protects not just the people involved, but the families and communities built around them.
For a lot of people, I think it's important to cut out the noise and then ask yourselves, teach yourself, what marriage is about. Once you begin to learn what those principles are, now train yourself to live by that code.
The picture emerging from counselors, researchers, and those living through undefined relationships is not simple. Situationships are not inherently harmful and not inherently healthy either. The outcomes depend heavily on sincerity, communication, and whether both parties genuinely share the same expectations. So for Firithi and Flapper, the arrangement they have built is, for now, working. But experts note that what works at one stage of life or for one person in a pair may not hold over time. Whether that is enough and for how long is a question neither this script nor the subjects can answer yet.
Modern relationships are changing, and the evidence suggests that the change is real and not going away. What experts agree on is that whatever form a relationship takes, what matters is clarity and mutual respect. And this is not just for the relationship, but for the people in it. Faith Wangari for TV47, Nairobi.
Wow, Faith Wangari there. That's a very interesting conversation to have, especially with your children and Gen Zs in the house. I can only imagine that people who want situationships don't want commitment, but emotional connection really doesn't usually respect those boundaries, and you might find one person who is interested to grow it and another person not interested to grow it. But hey, if you're there, you will have to deal with the situation. Right now, let's get sporty. Kenya advanced to the third round on the away goals rule after holding Uganda to a 1-1 draw in the first leg played last week in Kampala. Following the victory, Kenya will now face either South Africa or Tanzania in the third round of the qualifiers. Tanzania will be aiming to overturn a 2-0 first leg deficit when they take on South Africa in the return leg scheduled for tomorrow in Pretoria. At the end of the third round fixtures, the 4 aggregate winners will secure qualification for the 2026 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, set to be held in Morocco in October. Kenya is bidding to return to the global showpiece for a second time in 3 years after making a historic debut at the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in the Dominican Republic.
Emmanuel Clement anakipuliza kipocheza michuano ya kombe la dunia nchini Morocco kwa wachezaji wasiozidi umri wa miaka 17.
Mechi imekuwa ngumu. Of course kucheza nyumbani ni advantage, lakini bado imekuwa ngumu, but tunashukuru kwa ile advantage tulipata first leg. Tuliwaambia tuko na advantage ya kwanza. Sasa kama hatuwezi funga, tuweze kuzuia, tupate point yenye tunapata kwa hii game, tuende kwa next stage, alafu sasa tujipange vizuri. Between Tanzania na South Africa zote ni ngumu. So ni kuweza, kwa sababu tunaanza away, tujaribu kutafuta advantage kule away, ndio tukirudi nyumbani ikuwe rahisi.
So we changed our formation so that we can have width in the wing. You could see Justin Ayorongo was really using a flair and getting behind the defense line. That was the aim, to get behind the defense. I'm really proud of the goals, the performance. I thought it was top class. Getting into the final third, I thought that Kenya blocked us through the middle, and we wanted to get, obviously, them to penetrate really on the wing. But I'm proud of this team, and this is the place for the future.
And winners in the various categories of the 2026 Rhino Charge competition will be crowned this Sunday morning at Ngilai village in Samburu East, following the conclusion of the grueling off-road motorsport challenge on Saturday evening. The annual event attracted 65 competing crews and serves as a major fundraising initiative for environmental conservation efforts, with proceeds supporting organizations dedicated to protecting Kenya's ecosystems and wildlife.
Members of the British Army Training Unit Kenya, so we live and work in Nanyuki. This is multiple times that BATA have entered. This is my second. This is the third year this car has entered, so we restarted again in 2024. I was here last year, didn't do so well, lots of mechanical failures.
Number 34. This is our 16th or 17th charge, I can't quite remember. Obviously, we're passionate about conservation, passionate about the charity that Rhino Arc is. And I did my first charge in 1996, got the bug, moved to the UK, came back to Kenya, and then started again in 2010.
We're a bunch of friends, we're brothers, and yeah, it just keeps us together. So that's the reason we really kept that bond, and that's the reason we keep coming together, all of us.
On that sporty note, we wrap up the bulletin, but we'll be taking a short break. And when we return, we are having a very intimate conversation with people who are living at the heart of the experience of a missing child. Don't play too far. We'll be right back.
Indomie no drama.
damu ushakubali vibe ni tamu kila place ni legit jo alafu korogo ni quick na tasty anakuma wo una mix nyepesi no stressing chaji iwe nyama smoky skuma ingo homa yai indoto na mabesti tamu jo alafu joni easy na ni tasty vibe una ni life ni tamu bila stressing indomie mautamu quick and easy vibe uplifting na flavor mbichi bei rahisi ina nice one time ina donjo acha nikupanga cha kushovile na control indomie na flavor sisi meja kwa bombo sunda maji ongeza weka kitu kwa jiko meka mali kwa sinia unatandaza unachanganya vibe ni mautamu indomie furahia mlo mtamu.
Kisha, empowering women, fueling prosperity through networking, entrepreneurial training, and financial support. Start your Funny Kisha journey with equity today.
Azam TV, your favorite pay TV, just got even better. Effective 1st March 2026, we have added 5 amazing new TV channels to keep you entertained day and night. AMC Movies and Nolly Africa for the best of Nollywood movies and series. Music Box Hits and Music Box Dance for non-stop music hits and dance. And Manchester United TV for football fans. More movies, more music, more sports. All in one place.
Yami na flow kama maji juu ni tamu kama sali ni juicy are you bored kuna vitu zinakuudhi usijali my bro hebu kama taka juicy juni.
Face the future with confidence by acquiring additional skills that will make you competitive in the job market. Enhance your skills by undertaking professional short courses at Mount Kenya University's Center for Professional Development. These programs include Certified Human Resource Professional, Certified Public Accounts, Certified Associate in Project Management, Certified Procurement and Supply Professional, Certified Forensic